Toledo with 3 games this past week, going 2-1, starting with Wheeling on Wednesday. The Walleye were finally able to snap that 2-game losing streak with the much-needed win over the Nailers. Matt, special teams really the difference makers on Wednesday.
You know what? It ended up being a difference maker a lot throughout the week, Britt. I mean, it started Wednesday, a couple of power play goals for Toledo, and that was the difference in the game. They got those couple of power play goals. They win the game 5-3. It was a very interesting week overall, Brett, because you look at it, you mentioned it, 2-1 for the week. You're like, wow, you know what? That's a pretty solid week. And then you look back at it, and you look deeper into the games, you go, man, they played a great game on Wednesday. They played a great game on Sunday, and they played really, frankly, a crappy game on Friday night. It was either one or the other. It was either really good or really bad over the week, and I'm sure that was one of those who had Dan Watson scratching his head just over the week going, how can we play so well on Wednesday against a very good team, played very well again on Sunday, but then played just really not good at all on Friday? It's just amazing how those twists and turns of a week can really showcase itself, and it really did over the week.
From a complete game to completely falling apart on Friday against Fort Wayne, the Comets with 2 3-goal periods, and the Walleye just really digging themselves a hole, and they were never able to battle back. I know it's a lot to kind of take in and break down, but what would you say maybe your biggest differences were from Wednesday to Friday for the Walleye?
Well, I think, you were falling behind. They were able to come back against Wheeling, but, you know, this is a team that's been so good. When they get the first goal, they've only lost 4 times all year when they've scored the first goal. They've won 26 of those games this year when they've scored first. So that first goal is always so key. You know, it gets you that lead. This is a really good team when they have the lead, and it's hard in any team to come from behind anyway. Even 1-0, it seems like it's quite a difference. Toledo was able to tie that game, but then they gave up those 2 goals late in the last 3 minutes of period number 1. All of a sudden, you're behind 3-1. You know, Fort Wayne gets a bit of a break and gets their 4th goal early in the second. Next thing you know, now you're down 4-1. The game's starting to get out of hand, and it just went negative on Toledo there on Friday. But you know what? Credit to them. They came out and played a terrific game on Sunday against another good team in Cincinnati.
They definitely made up for it on Sunday against the Cyclones, a team the Walleye have had a lot of success against, winning 6 straight. Toledo, the top scoring team in the league, and I think they really showed why last night. Head coach Dan Watson with a few changes throughout the lines, and you know what? It worked. How did those changes add to an already dynamic offense?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's weird to ask that question. and I asked him the same question after the game. I'm like, you know, you changed the lines around a little bit there. What was the thought process? And he said, you know what? I wanted to balance out the scoring a little bit more. When you had Matt Barry on the same line with Hensick and Hawkins, now you have that one really super line that can be a true number 1, score a lot. Well, you know, by just moving John Albert, who's a very good goal scorer in his own right, now the team leader with 20 goals on the season, you move him up to that line. Now you spread Matt Barry down a little bit, and look at what it did for that line with Mitchell Hurd and Conlon Keenan. Conlon Keenan scores twice. Matt Barry scores twice. That was probably the best line of the game on Sunday. So by moving parts around just a little bit, tweaking things just a little bit, and even that quote-unquote third line with Pauliani, whether it was Schultz, whether it was Parker, whether it was Howdeshell, however he mixed and matched that group of 4 there and kind of spotted them in, that line created a lot as well. So I think that it just added a little bit more depth throughout the lineup, and sometimes you need that little bit of a change. Sometimes you get almost too comfortable playing with the line mates. You need to kind of switch things up sometimes. I thought it was a great switch. It worked out perfectly. I mean, 7 goals later, you're never going to argue with that.
Hey, you said it. Sometimes change can be a good thing, and that was definitely the case with the Walleye getting back into the win column, and they're looking to stay there with 4 games in 7 days, starting in Wheeling on Wednesday before returning home to host Idaho over the weekend. As always, you can catch the weekend series right here on BCSN. Matt, so good to see you. Thanks for taking the time to stop by and chat with us.
Always a pleasure, Britt. Have a great week.